Survey of 2,000 business people put British Airways at the top, followed by Apple and Virgin Atlantic. Last year's table topper Visa fell to fifth. But the big faller is Google, which has dropped from second last year to seventh this year. Out of the top 20 brands, 7 are British, 11 are American, and there's also Germany's Bosch and South Korea's Samsung. The survey was conducted for the Centre for Brand Analysis, whose chief executive is Stephen Cheliotis, who joins me now. Well, Stephen, why is Google down so much?
Well, I think we've seen a problem with Google in terms of it hit its pinnacle in 2008. It was topping both our consumer super brands list and our business super brands list. But since then, although it's still important to business in terms of empowering their own activity in the digital economy, the veneer is somewhat been removed. You know, is it paying its tax? What is it doing with our data? How is it handling our privacy? And indeed, not just on a consumer level, an individual level, but also as businesses. And I think those question marks have basically dented our trust in Google and in many of the other tech brands that are out there. And I think that's why we've seen them fall.
Right, and yet, so that's a business that's had reputational hits. And yet Rolls-Royce is 13 in your list. And Rolls-Royce has had a terrible year, fraud investigation, profits warnings, finance directors hoofed overboard, job cuts.
The big difference is that Rolls-Royce, of course, is a very established British brand. This is a British survey. It has a lot of goodwill that has been built up through the years, and a strong brand is able to take certain hits in the short term because of that goodwill that's been built up. But that will only last so long. If Rolls-Royce, for example, doesn't sort its house out and get things in order, then the goodwill will continue to diminish and it will start falling down our rankings. But even though it's had problems over the last year and a half, there is still enough goodwill there to mean that it is still performing strongly. It is still maintaining its rank. But, of course, as I said, that will not last.